What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. I want to jump right into it. For today's video, I wanted to do a little bit of research and find out how much the military was spending on silver, how much silver is used in the military. And in doing my research, I found out that the majority of the information was classified. It's not really reported, which makes sense from like a homeland security standpoint. The government wouldn't want the information to be put into the wrong hands, or they wouldn't want to be affected by putting that information out. So, in me trying to find out exactly how much silver was used, I found out some great information on the actual uses of silver. And I want to show you guys those uses in this video. And it was mind blowing the information that I found. All right. So, for starters, I think it's common knowledge. A lot of people have heard that there's anywhere between 300 to 500 ounces of silver inside of each Tomahawk missile. And this can be similar for not only just Tomahawk missiles, but most missiles that are remotely guided and remotely operated. I wasn't able to find an exact source from the military, but I did find a lot of secondary and tertiary sources that basically talked about it being anywhere between 300 to 500 ounces. If you guys were to do the research, which I strongly suggest you do, you're going to find something similar. I found this right here from the National Mining Association, which is a basically, if I'm not mistaken, a federal organization. I do know that they have a .org page. Like I said, this is direct from the U.S. National Defense for the National Mining Association. Outside of just missiles, according to this right here, they say that key resource, silver is a key resource for the Air Force's C-17 and Army Apache helicopters. Those are pretty much the helicopters where they carry large loads. I think they have a newer aircraft that was made after the C-17s, but y'all get where I'm going with this. A lot of silver is used inside of these aircrafts. I couldn't find exactly where the silver is located inside of these Apache helicopters and these aircrafts, but I did find some other information I want to dive into. I looked at a few other things and I saw that a lot of silver was also used in tanks and armored vehicles within the military. I can't remember that link. Definitely go online and research and fact check what I'm talking about. But let's go ahead and continue with this. I found that a lot of the silver was actually used inside of the batteries, inside of the and also inside of the wires. Apparently, historically in the military, I think since the 50s, they've been using a lot of zinc silver batteries. And basically, based on what I've been finding out, if you look at this report right here, it says that the zinc silver oxide batteries basically have a higher specific energy, meaning they can hold a higher peak level of energy, and they're more energy dense. They have more energy density, meaning they can store more energy in a smaller space compared to most commercial aqueous rechargeable batteries. So this is just one article that I was able to find through Science Direct. Like I said, by all means, check the sources. This is the author of this published literature. Make sure you guys check all of this stuff, but I want to show you guys even more. This is from eaglepicture.com, where it's talking about some of the benefits of silver zinc batteries. Some of those benefits are safety, high energy density, like I just mentioned, a flexible configuration. Silver is basically malleable. You can shape it to however you need it. For the most part, it has a longer active life, and it's believed that the reason that silver has a longer active life compared to most of the batteries that were used before and opposed to the silver batteries is because silver itself takes a long time to tarnish, kind of sort of similar to how gold does. Also, if I'm not mistaken, silver is the number one conductor of electricity. I think it may even be a better conductor of electricity than copper, but it's just more expensive. So copper is used. If you guys know the definite answer on that, leave that in the comments below. But I'm almost certain that silver, as far as metals go, are the better conductor. Batteries that have silver in them, they can be used remotely. So if we have things such as missiles, things such as tanks, things such as drones that the military are using, and they're using it from a remote standpoint, they're pretty much going to have silver inside of their batteries. This article right here from Birch Gold Group is basically just stating how the military has been using silver since the 50s. It talks about how they use it in NASA and all that stuff. But basically, silver zinc batteries have been used since the 50s. They started using them in the torpedoes inside of submarines. And based off of this article, they are still used in most non-U.S. Navy torpedoes. So most of the Navy's torpedoes that are not used here in the United States have silver, and I would imagine that they probably have about the same amount of silver as those Tomahawk missiles or something close to it. I'm saying all that to say I couldn't find out exactly how much silver the military used, how much, like I said earlier, but I am finding out where they're putting those resources and where they're using that silver. And in me looking at that, I've realized that even though I can't track the spending on what is it they're spending, I can track how much they're actually using these devices, such as the missiles, the tanks, and all that good stuff. If you see here recently, the U.S. Marines has activated their first Tomahawk missile battery. When they say Tomahawk missile batteries, you guys have probably seen these launchers. These are what they're referring to, these missile launchers. And these new missile launchers, instead of launching basically one missile at a time, if I'm not mistaken, this pack can launch up to 6 missiles at one time and further. So I can't necessarily say that they're going to be using more silver in these missiles, but I do know that more silver is going to be going out at one time. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to end up being using more silver, being that they're going to be using more missiles. Also, if you guys have been paying close attention to what's going on in like Palestine, Israel, and all that good stuff, a lot of countries have what's known as an iron dome to protect from missiles. And what the iron dome does is it'll shoot up multiple missiles to basically intercept missiles that are coming in. Those missiles are sent from launch pads such as this. So multiple countries starting to have better iron domes and starting to beef up the amount of missiles that they have to launch at opposing forces, as well as to protect themselves from opposing forces. I'm almost certain that more silver and thus more silver is going to be used by the militaries all basically over globally for the most part. Like I said, this is the U.S. Marines doing it. This next link that I'm about to show you is basically going to be talking about how the Navy is doing the same thing. This is directly from the U.S. Naval Institute, but it's talking about how they need to build more missiles now. I was looking on Google and I found the TMZ article that basically said the exact same thing for the Army. They built a new military battery that could shoot off 6 missiles at one time. So it seems like every branch of the military, at least in the United States, and I'm sure it's the same abroad, is starting to purchase more missiles and starting to develop systems to shoot more missiles, i.e., more silver at one time. And of course, with more missiles, you have more armored vehicles. You're going to have more vehicles in general. Think this is the last article that I wanted to show you guys. No, I have 2 more. This is basically, I Googled military arms race, and you see not only is the United States beefing up their military, beefing up the amount of missiles, beefing up the amount of military vehicles, the same thing is happening in Australia, the same thing is happening in Russia, the same thing is happening in China. Without me even showing you guys, of course, the same thing is going on in Palestine, Israel, Yemen, and all over the Middle East. There is one last article that I want to show you guys before I end this video. Here it is. And this article is from SYCOR, SICOR Technology. I do not know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but SICOR Technology is a company that produces mil-spec wires, which is basically wiring that's built specifically up to military standards. So I'm not going to dive too far into this, but what I want to show you guys is the general type of wiring that's used in the military and what it's made of. All right, so these are the different types right here. So it's a lot of different types. Right here, it says that the largest categories are the M22759 and the M16878. So we're looking for 759878. So let's go down 759. 759. All of these are 759. All these are 759. Okay, perfect. So all the ones that they're showing are the ones that they use. And let's look at the metals and make sure I have this right. Let's look at the conductor plating. The conductor is the actual metal that they're using inside of the wire. So this conductor plating on a lot of these, we see silver or either nickel. And of course, like I mentioned earlier in the video, silver is going to resist tarnishing and last longer compared to the nickel. So a lot of this mil spec wiring is going to have silver. So all in all, not are we going to just have silver in these batteries, but we're going to have silver in the wiring. And the reason that the military wants to have silver in the wiring for their vehicles, especially if you're talking about really, really important exercises, or if there's like an in time of war or something like that, the reason that they want to have that is to ensure that the products work, whether it's high temperatures, low temperatures, moisture. They want to make sure that these products work. The military is basically using silver for the same reason that NASA uses silver and gold, because they want to make sure that the things work under harsh conditions and last a long time, even if they're being used remotely. And if you are using something remotely, especially on the battlefield or something like that, you can save a lot of lives by not having troops or someone to come in and have to deal with something. So silver is probably going to be the way to go for the U.S. military and military forces abroad. So definitely keep an eye on silver. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the use of silver go up over the next few years. That's not financial advice, but if you look back during the early 2000s, once that whole situation that was going on in the Middle East took off, we saw that silver for over the next decade took off in price. If I'm not mistaken, I almost did a 10x. So definitely keep an eye on everything. I just want to show you guys that information. Like I said, I could not find out exactly how much silver was used, but I thought this was some cool information to see all of these different uses of silver and to kind of find out where exactly the military would be using silver. If you guys find this information to be helpful, definitely make sure you give us a thumbs up, like this video, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos, hit the notification bell to get notifications from YouTube once we come out with new videos. If you guys have any questions, any comments, anything that you would like to see us do on future videos, make sure you let us know down in the comment section below. If you guys are interested in purchasing silver at spot price, go to the description section. There's a lot of links to how you can get silver or gold at spot price. None of the at least as of right now, none of the links listed are sponsors of the channel. It's just information that I thought would be useful to you guys. So if you found that information useful, like I said, definitely give us a like. With that being said, I'll see you guys on the next video, and I'm out.